I.S.U.P.K.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
That's a biblical prophecy, man. That the planet Earth will be given to the hand of the wicked. Understand? Nothing but wickedness happens on this planet Earth, man. Slavery to enslave an entire nation of people, that's wicked, man. That's wickedness, man. You understand? And what do they say? What do people say about slavery, right? Say, what are you mad at us for? Your own people sold you into slavery. That's a lie. You understand? Our own people did not sell us into slavery. Africans sold us into slavery. Now, Africans are not our people. Let me educate y'all 1 second real quick. Because I know people think that we are African, right? We are not African, man. We are the real Jews that the Bible speaks of. The real Jews are black, man. Hispanics and Native Americans. We did not sell ourselves into slavery. Africans sold us into slavery. And let me share some with y'all. Those African nations that sold us into slavery, they prospered and flourished, but getting weapons from them nations from Europe, man. Let me tell y'all what separates us from every other nation on the planet Earth. You understand? This is what separates us from all these other nations, that everybody on the planet Earth could trace their lineage back to some country. An African can trace their lineage back to some country in Africa. They can trace their lineage back to Nigeria. They can trace their lineage back to Cameroon or Ethiopia. Understand? A man of European descent could trace their lineage back to France or Switzerland or Italy. Understand? An Asian man could he could trace his lineage back all the way to Japan or China. But guess what? So-called black people, Hispanics and Native Americans, we the only people across the entire face of the planet Earth that's walking around in the year 2021 and we don't even know who we are, man. Our identity has been stolen from us, man. You understand? And you want to know why? Read that again.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The wicked stole our identity, man. The wicked stole it, man, and took it for themselves. They painted Christ as a white, they painted Christ as a man of European descent, man. That's not Christ, man. You understand? They stole our identity. We have an identity. Our identity is not a color. It's not the color black. Our identity is not 2 continents, man. It's not African American. That's not our identity. Our identity is the greatest people upon the entire face of the planet Earth, man. That's right. You understand? And we suffer affliction in this place. Because why? Salakia, brother, if you would, read that again from the top. This why right here.
The earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
The wicked covereth the faces of the judges thereof, man. Once again, that 40-foot statue in Brazil that they say is Jesus Christ, that's a lie. Jesus Christ is a black man, and we could prove it, man. Understand? Why would they lie about us, about Jesus Christ in the Bible, man? Why, man? Why? Because they're wicked. That's why. That's right. The wicked lie. You understand? That's why we call him the devil that the Bible speaks of, because he's the ultimate deceiver. You understand? If you would, drop that, brother. I got something I want to bring out to all the people that may not know, right? A story about a young brother by the name of George Stinney. You understand? Now, I know people don't know about George Stinney because if we did, it would be taught in the school. I didn't know about George Stinney since I was a grown man. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Yeah. We're going to read about George Stinney right here. George Stinney is a victim, man. A victim of wickedness. A victim of this wicked nation, man. You understand? And he is just one brother out of so many. We're gonna talk about George Stinney today, man. We're gonna remember our fallen soldiers, our fallen brothers. Nobody talks about our fallen brothers, man. No one brings it out, man. a young lady had told me when Trayvon Martin got killed, right? She told me, she said, they talking about it now, but a couple years from now, people will forget about it. You know what I mean? And there was some truth to that. But guess what? We will never forget up here in the Israelite School of UPK. We'll never forget about Trayvon Martin, man. We gonna ride for Trayvon Martin. The Lord gonna ride for Trayvon Martin, man. We'll never forget about Sandra Bland. We'll never forget about the transatlantic slave trade, man. Understand? When we were packed on slave ships like sardines, wrist to wrist, ankle to ankle, man. You understand? How many people out here know how many black people died just crossing the Atlantic Ocean, man? Damn near 100 million. Now 100 million of us died just traveling across the ocean, man. Check that. You wanna know why? Because the earth was given to the hand of the wicked. That's why. If you would, read the story about a brother named George Stinney. Go ahead.
In March 1944, deep in the Jim Crow South, police came for 14-year-old George Stinney Jr.
So in the 40s, in Jim Crow South, Jim Crow is when segregation was happening. Let me say this before we continue on. We were better off segregated. You understand? We raised up prominent cities like Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. And Durham, North Carolina was a black Wall Street, man. You know what I mean? We raised up prominent cities without any outside interference from wicked nations. You understand? But in the 1940s, in the Jim Crow South, where segregation took place, some police came and wanted to question George Stinney. Read that last part again.
Police came for 14-year-old George Stinney Jr.
Police came for 14-year-old George Stinney Jr. Let me sidebar for 1 second, man, because I know everybody else can't relate to this. But as young black men, right, I myself could recall being 13 years old, walking up and down the street being pulled over by police, man. You know what I mean? Being pulled over for riding a bike. 13, 14 years old on the curb in handcuffs, man. Understand? This happened so frequently, man. Understand? I'm just one story out of millions. You understand? And just like how the police harassed me and my brothers when we was coming up, they was harassing George Stinney. He was 14 years old, man. So police came and questioned George Stinney at 14 years old, a young boy. It's like Trayvon Martin was murdered as a young boy, 17 years old, man. Once again, we'll never forget about Trayvon Martin. We'll never forget our people in history that fell in this nation, man. And guess what? We're going to receive justice for our people as well.
That's right.
If you will, keep reading.
His parents were not at home. His little sister was hiding in the family's chicken coop.
So George Stinney had a little sister. When the police came, she was scared and she hid. She went and hid, man. Scared of the police, like how no other nation, again, no other nation knows the feeling of driving a car than seeing the blue lights behind you.
Right, right.
And seeing your heart dropping, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Hope I don't have warrants. You understand? Keep reading.
His little sister was hiding in the family's chicken coop behind the house in Al-Cooley, a segregated mill town in South Carolina.
So this all took place in South Carolina, deep in the South, all right? Read on.
While officers handcuffed George and his older brother, Johnny, and took them away.
They locked up young George Stinney. Keep reading.
2 young white girls have been found brutally murdered, beaten over the head with a railroad spike, and dumped in the water.
So this is talking about the story of George Stinney. We're going to get deep into it. We're going to talk about it a little bit, all right? So now 2 young girls of European descent were brutally murdered. So they assumed that it was this young kid, this 14-year-old kid and his sister. Understand? I don't know how many people out there that been in a fist fight before, but a 14-year-old kid not hurting me. I mean, he ain't gonna do too much damage, man. But of course, these other nations, they see a 14-year-old kid and look at us as an animal. When the truth is, the wicked nation, they are the animals, man. They're full of brutality. Just look up history, man. Look at European history. It's 1,000 years of straight self-destruction and brutality. They raping their own people, man. Not taking baths, spreading diseases and all that. Stand? A wicked nation. Read on.
He and his little sister, who were black, were said to be last ones to see them alive.
Now we know that's a lie, but you know, of course that's what we say the oppressor the devil that the Bible speak of. They full of lies. You understand? Lying on this young kid, man. Old enough to be, you know what I mean, and what they call it, not varsity football, JV football, man. Oh man, a little young boy, man. Keep reading.
Authorities later released the older Stinney and directed their attention now to George.
Right, so his older brother got locked up with him. His older brother, his sister, and himself, they let his older brother go. Keep reading.
The police were looking for someone to blame it on.
And how common is that? You get pulled over and what they say, you fit the description of. I mean, how common is that, man? Happens also, or it's happening right now as we speak. Some poor young brother is getting pulled over by police because he fit the description of, man. Right. Just an excuse to lynch a young brother. Keep reading.
So they used my brother as a scapegoat. His sister, Amy Ruffner, told WLTX TV earlier this year.
Right, keep reading.
On June 16th, 1944, he was executed.
He was what?
Executed.
So 1944, young 14-year-old George Stinney was executed, man. He was put to death. You understand now? We in the year 2021. This happened 80 years ago. Approximately 80 years ago, not even a century ago, man. And brothers are being put to death today. Brothers are being locked up and they're innocent today, man. Understand? Keep reading.
On June 16th, 1944, he was executed, becoming the youngest person in modern times to be put to death.
You hear that? You hear that, man? The young George Stinney, a young black kid, was the youngest person in U.S. history to be put to death by the prison system, man. In 1944, they put him to death, man. They executed the young brother, and he was innocent. Understand? It's gonna tell us. Keep reading. They killed the young innocent boy, man. Keep reading.
On Wednesday, 70 years later, he was exonerated.
He was what?
Exonerated.
So basically, they turned around 70 years after they murdered this young brother, and they said, "My bad." Man, so, they really meant it, but they acknowledged the fact, yeah, that was kind of messed up. So they turned around and said, "My bad." 70 years after they murdered 14-year-old George Stinney, man. You want to know why? Because the earth was given to the hand of the wicked, man. That's right. The wicked ruled this planet Earth. That's why George Stinney, 14-year-old black kid, was murdered by the penitentiary, by the U.S. government in 1944 for a crime that he didn't even commit. Keep reading.
Stinney's case has tormented civil rights advocates for years. He was questioned in a small room alone, without his parents, without an attorney. The landmark Supreme Court case.
Hold up. So he was questioned by himself in the room. So I think we could fill in the blanks. You know what I mean? They was beating him up, man. I mean, they was beating him up until they got a confession out of him, man. They just needed somebody to blame. And who else can they blame but someone they don't even like? Just like how the brother was bringing out wild love of people that hate you, man. They will only hate of people that they could take a 14-year-old boy and put him to death, man. Put him to death, man. Kill him, man. Where's the compassion at? Where's the love at, man? Understand? And guess what? So it's ironic because the day gonna come where all these other nations gonna be on their knees praying that Christ don't cut their damn head off, and they're gonna be asking, where's the love at, man? Where's the love at? Ain't no love, man. And ain't no love lost either. You understand? Ain't no love, man. It's only love for our people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. It's only love for my brother George Stinney, man, that got murdered by the government, man. Keep reading.
Police claim the boy confessed to killing Betty June Binnicker, 11, and Mary Emma Thames, 8, admitting he wanted to have sex with Betty.
Knowing damn well, don't no brother want to lay with no woman of European descent, man. We got the most beautiful sisters on the planet Earth, man.